And so when I asked Anthony, would he like me to adhere to a certain topic, and he did mention, as he just spoke on, that he asked the children or the students about their dreams. So my very first dream, my very first wholehearted desire was to take care of my mother. And so at a young age, my sister's there filming, but I'm the youngest of three. Just having went through food insecurity, I'm just gonna hold this microphone. Major food insecurity, home insecurity, and just seeing my mother work so very hard, but it never quite being enough to feed us three kids. And so just in that, and please know in my speeches and in my talks, I'm just kind of full transparency. And I just tell my story just the way it is, or just the way it was. And so my mother, shared with me, later on in life that she said that she had considered, taking her own life and taking us three kids with her. And she said there's nothing like seeing your children starve and not being able to feed them. Now, for myself, I've always been, to date, I move energetically. I am a spiritual person first. And with that, I always read my mother. So I knew my mother I'd never really seen her happy. She was always working and taking great care of us three kids. So there was a point, where, we were always on the bus, and, when we could get food, we would go, and all of us kids would be carrying a bag, and my mother would be carrying too many. I just always dreamed of being able to take care of her so that she would never have to worry about eating again. She would never have to worry about her family again. And then not only my mother, but I wanted to take care of women like my mother and families like ours. And so, with that, years later, I had a troubled childhood. I dropped out of school in the 9th grade, officially dropped out of school actually in the 7th grade, went back in the 9th grade, and then they kicked me out. I wasn't the greatest student. It was later on that I went on to get my associate's degree in nursing. I worked at Marin General Hospital for just under 10 years in the surgery center, endoscopy department. And my drive was to, again, be able to take care of not only my mom, but my family and then my community. So at some point in my career, I took a pivotal turn and I went into the food industry. And against everyone's advice, the nurses and the physicians that I had worked with over the years, who offered me endless opportunities after I had graduated nursing school, said in the most respectful way that they could that you're an idiot. Like, why would you do that? At this point, I've seen you work so hard. I was a single mother as well, actually. So they seen me work very hard during the day, go to evening classes, and they would help to actually tutor me and things like that. So they kind of seen my journey hands-on. And with that, when I made the decision to leave everything and go sell food at the farmer's market, they said, Tamearra, what are you doing? At least work part-time. You don't have to leave your job, fully. You're a single mom. You have benefits. What are you gonna do? I said, I'm not sure, but I know that I have a desire, again, to offer the world something it had not yet seen. And I was just very passionate about what Souley Vegan could be. And so with that, I took the dive. Sold food at the farmer's market. The community was very receptive and welcoming. And with that, we opened our first restaurant in Oakland's Jack London Square in 2009. Now, when I opened that restaurant, there was no capital involved. It was my sister who gave me $27 to put in the cash register for change for the customer. So I did that, and I had to give it right back to her once we made a little bit of money. But it was the revenue that we made from the first day that I went to the produce market the second day and bought my supplies for the second day, and I built Souley Vegan literally by hand, 18 to 20 hour days, sometimes staff, most of the time no staff. And I built it over the years. And it was just, again, when we talk about the dream and your desire, it's what you fall back on when times get hard. So as I'm building Souley Vegan, and then I finally got, positioned enough to, start to hire people. I'm so blessed that I built such a great team around me, amazing individuals that I couldn't really do without. But it was the drive, it was the reason why I started in the first place. It was the reason why I took the first step, that I had to think, in those nights and those days when I was on my knees and I'm thinking, what is this? What am I doing? All these hours that I'm working, killing myself to, but it was the reason, because I'm the one in my family. I'm the one that's going to make the change. I'm it. Generational curse is the popular name for that right now, but it's truth, and it's not pretty. But when you have a dream, understand that this may sound funny, but it's almost lastly about you. It's more so about what service you're going to be able to give to your community and to the people around you. Your gift is really your dream, and it's very special, and I know that. And I know that my journey and everything that I've endured with Souley Vegan has been kind of lastly for me, and more so to share the journey with other people who find any inspiration that they can in the story. I closed Souley Vegan after 14 years in 2023. There was a lot kind of going on, of course, with COVID and everything, but energetically speaking, I knew that I had grown out of that space. But God and the universe, or whatever you choose to name it, never closes one door without offering something greater, as long as you stay true to your passion and your heart's soul desire. And so with that, now I just signed a lease for a beautiful location in Jack London Square again. It's a restaurant and event space. Actually, my ex-landlord was trying to get us back to the other location, but I knew that I wanted to be in a space where I can spread my wings and we can do more, not only for Souley Vegan, but for our community. And this space is just phenomenal. Couple kitchens where we offer up-and-coming chefs a chance to kind of, do their thing and do pop-ups and things like that. As well as where I'll start my nonprofit organization where I mentor the youth, primarily from Oakland, and try to help guide them in any way that I can. But all of this, kind of falls back on my desire to be more, to do more, to not be a victim of my circumstances. When my mother left us with our father, let's just say that my father and I didn't have the greatest relationship. He wasn't himself. And so with that, I had to choose I'm not a victim. I am not a victim. I choose which direction I want to go in, and I pursue that regardless of whatever heartaches or whatever brick walls I run up against. And that's life. Like, anytime you are striving for something, it will not be easy. It will not be easy, but it's worth it. And I think that a lot of us look at success as money, but it's, and it sounds cliche, but it's so much, it really lastly has anything to do with money, more so the character that you have once you achieve whatever financial goals that you have. Because money doesn't make you a good person. It does take care of food, it does take care of shelter, it takes care of clothing, it allows you to help people without you physically being present. I get that. Trust me. I know that. I come from insecurity. I know that. But I also know that there's a greater picture here. And the greater picture is, who am I? Who am I, and what service am I going to give to the world? And that is my job here. And however everything else folds out, I know that everything is going to work out, and has worked out when I just kind of calmed down and had faith. You know, never forget your faith in the process. And you don't have to think about, I'm not a religious person, you don't have to think about really anything outside of yourself. Just have faith enough in yourself to know that regardless of what you come up against, you are going to do it. Like, I promise you, I'm living proof. Like, you, whatever you want to accomplish, you can absolutely do it, but you just have to have faith in yourself. And you won't always have faith in yourself. There's doubts that creep up on me still, you know, and I just think the opposite way and do whatever I need to do to get those out of my head. Because that's an aspect of you that's telling you that you can't do it, but it's really not you, if that makes sense. Because who you are your desire. You are what you want to fulfill. You are your dream. That's who you are. Anything else that contradicts that is really, it's not real. And it's hard for some people to realize that or understand that while we're walking through the day-to-day and we have all these physical challenges in front of us. How are we supposed to do it? But I promise you, just focus on the end result, focus on the goal, and I promise you, you will achieve those goals. And I'm just living proof. There's no logical reason for me to have done what I've done. And I opened Souley Vegan, the first restaurant, 301 Broadway. No one had succeeded there multiple years prior to us leasing out the space. I had not a dime, but I had faith. And my landlord didn't even know why she was renting to me, swear to God. She was just like, oh my God, what am I doing? Because it's the process. And my faith overrode her logic. And that's just what happens. And miracles happen. And that's where I built the Souley Vegan brand. And now we're nationally acclaimed. I mean, there's so many accolades, but it was just through the faith and the hard work. It always fell back on just the faith that we can do it. You know, the faith that we can do it. And your faith will also drive your team. They'll believe in you if you believe in you. So that was my dream, and I'm happy to say that I did retire my mother several years ago, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. But it's still a struggle, and it's hard for her because she sees me and she's watched me go through the process, and it's not easy for her, and she's told me, well, why don't you just go back to nursing and da-da-da, because she wants me to be okay. But I know my calling, you know, I know my calling, and that's what I'm here to do. So, you know, I don't know if my time is up because I just ramble, but I appreciate speaking to you guys so very much. I never really prepare for a talk. I just kind of speak from my heart. So I hope that, you know, I did well for you guys today, and I appreciate you having me. Before Anthony comes up here, is there any questions? Yes.
When does the new place open?
We're looking at the first or second week of April. Yeah, you guys will be very proud of this. It's a great project that we're working on with this location. Yeah, new and improved.
What's the address?
Thank you. 101 Broadway. Yeah.
Is that right there, the old restaurant Choices used to be there?
Yeah, the last one, it was Overland Station, but I think it was called Choices at something like that. But yeah, we're right on the corner of Broadway and Embarcadero. It's a restaurant and event space. Beautiful.
Next door to Choices.
I don't know what Choices is. Where's Choices?
Right.
Oh, you mean Wise Choice?
Yeah,
Yeah, we were right across the street from Wise Choice. Dang, plug here. We were right across the street from White's Choice. Now we're further down, like right before the train tracks in the Jacqueline Square.
Oh,
Yeah.
by Evans and Jones.
But same block as Everett and Jones, just across the street.
Okay.
Yes. Well, thank you guys so very much.